Welcome to the Purpose, Passion, and Profit podcast, a show for ambitious women who are ready to ditch their 9-to-5 and create an online business doing work that's in alignment with their calling. I'm your host, Kelly Dawn, business and money mindset coach for purpose-driven entrepreneurs. Each week, I'll be sharing actionable steps to help you gain clarity, build confidence, and cultivate an abundance mindset that will help you create a profitable, service-based online business. If you're ready to make an income and impact doing what you love, let's do this. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Purpose, Passion, and Profit podcast. Today, we're talking about 5 things that are going to help you get over stage fright so you can show up on video in your business. Okay, so why do we need to get over stage fright if we have an online business? Because video is the number one way your humans, your ideal audience, is going to be able to connect with you. Because yes, we can do that through written posts. There are different ways that we can create content that connects us to our audience, but there is nothing like a live video that's going to help your people get to know what you're all about. And this is something I was absolutely terrified to do for the longest time in my business. If you've been in my world for a while, you know the Periscope story. This is back when Periscope was a thing before Facebook Lives were even around. I went live on Periscope and I ended up arguing with trolls. I was like in tears at the end of the live stream. My coach, Nikki Pebbles, at the time, I love her to death. She was messaging me right afterwards. She's like, oh my God, are you okay? Because it was one of the worst experiences ever. And I thought I was prepared. I had my notes for what I wanted to talk about on the live stream. I had the tech stuff worked out, but I wasn't prepared for the trolls and I completely lost my shit. And so doing live video back then, it was something I felt called to do. It was something that I wanted to do. It's not like I was forcing myself to do something that I didn't want to do, but my first experience was absolutely horrible. And it wasn't even live video. I was terrified of showing up on video in any way because I didn't want to see myself and I didn't want to hear myself. I was really self-conscious. And I remember being part of this visibility challenge that another coach was running. And as part of that challenge, we had to do I think it was like a 30-second intro video, not a live video, just a 30-second video of us talking about what we did and who we served, right? Super quick intro video. It took me about 2 hours to film a 30-second video, and I was an emotional basket case by the end of it because being on video and being seen that way was something that I just found so scary. So this is a topic that's really near and dear to my heart because I remember what it was like. I remember wanting to puke before I hit the go live button. I remember even hating doing recorded videos. What I'll be sharing today, it's going to help you whether you're doing live videos, pre-recorded videos, or even written post and audio. So if you have like a podcast or something like that, because being visible, it stretches across everything, right? It's not just video that there's some fear that comes around, this fear of being seen, being vulnerable, being exposed to the billions of people that are on the internet. That can happen no matter what format you're presenting your content in. But we're mainly going to talk about video, but just know that everything I'm sharing kind of overlaps into other areas as well. So the first tip I have for you guys is to move your body before you do your live, before you show up on video, because we are energy at our core, right? Everything that's going on within us, it's all energy. That's what it all comes down to. And if we're really nervous, if we're feeling really anxious, we are going to be buzzing, absolutely buzzing energetically. And that's not necessarily going to serve us if we want to show up and share a message. Because what tends to happen then is we speak really fast. We tend to get really rambly. My last live stream that I did, I was totally in that space. I didn't take the time to ground my energy before I went live. And I was just feeling super nervous. And so the live stream was like, I think 6 minutes long. Once I cut everything down and got it on the podcast, it was like the shortest podcast episode ever because my head just wasn't in the right space. So that's another thing I'll mention too here, guys. I've been going live for years. I've been going live for a long time. The majority of that time has been inside a Facebook group. I have gone live over on my public page and in bigger groups, but it's been a while since I've gone live on Instagram and on my personal page. So even if you're doing something like this and it's not brand new, you can still have nervous energy So move your body. You can dance around. If you have a rebounder at home, jump up and down. You can just move around your apartment, your house, whatever it is. Have some sex if you want to. An orgasm is a great way to get that excess energy out of your system. And then another thing that I like to do is I will put my hands on the floor. And this doesn't matter if you're in a high rise, if you're on the main floor, second floor of your building, that doesn't matter. What you can do is put your hands on the floor and just set the intention that all of that excess nervous energy is leaving your body. And you will be able to feel the energy leaving your body, and just imagine it traveling down your arms, through your hands, into the ground. And then beautiful Mother Earth can transmute that energy into something useful, but it gets it out of your body. And then another thing you can do during your live stream is to either hold a pen in your hand, or if you're into working with crystals, you can grab a crystal and just have that in your hand as you're talking. And what I like to do with this is I set the intention that any nervous energy, any scattered energy, is going to be directed into the object that I'm holding. And that helps me feel way more grounded when I'm doing videos, because I have something that the energy can travel into. Okay, the other tip I have for you is to start small. Meaning, if you've never done a live stream in your entire life and the idea of it terrifies you, you don't necessarily have to jump to doing lives on Instagram or your Facebook personal page in front of everyone. You can change it so you have a smaller audience. And I think there's a setting on Facebook. I'm not 100% sure, because like I mentioned earlier before we started recording, doing lives on my personal page is not something I've done a lot of lately. But I'm pretty sure you can set it so you have a specific audience that you can go live in front of, and you used to be able to block certain people. So if there's certain people in your audience and you don't want them to see you going live, you can just block them from the live stream. It's a beautiful thing. But what I used to do is I had a Facebook group, and I still have one now, but back then my group was about 50 or 100 people. It was on the smaller side. And I would do all of my live streams inside that Facebook group. And I did that because, for one thing, it was a smaller group, and it was a lot easier to show up and just talk to the people in there because I knew them, right? I didn't know them all personally, but I knew who they were. Generally, I knew I wasn't going to get trolls. I knew that I wasn't going to get, the silly random comments that you might get when you're doing a more public live stream. So it felt a lot safer for me to go live in front of those people. Now, if you don't have a Facebook group, rather, you can open one up and you can go live by yourself in that Facebook group, just to get used to the tech side of things, just to get used to seeing yourself on camera. And then I always recommend, if they feel it's aligned, to have your own group, because that's a great way to build a community around your coaching business. But you start small, right? Start small, start with a small group, whether that's just yourself, maybe it's a group of your friends. Get used to being on video, because for me, this is the weirdest thing, was seeing yourself and hearing yourself. Really unnerving. So the more comfortable you are just seeing your face on a camera, the easier it's going to be for you to show up and do lives regularly, or do any kind of video content regularly. Another thing that really helped me was Instagram stories. So I loved it, absolutely loved it when Instagram stories came out, because they give you the opportunity to have your front facing camera, put your face on the screen and share your message. And it was only like 15 seconds long. Anyone can show up for 15 seconds. And the beauty of stories, you can do Instagram stories, Facebook, TikToks, whatever it is, you can just delete them. If you absolutely hate what came out on that recording, you can just hit the delete button. So that's another thing I did to get comfortable being in front of the camera and talking to people. Because we want to be talking to our ideal clients. We want to be engaging with the people in our world. And like we mentioned earlier, being on video is the easiest way for them to get to know who you are as a person. They're going to know your quirks. They're going to know your mannerisms. And that's going to drive the wrong people away. Wrong as in being the not right people for your business. And attract the people who are really into you. So Facebook group, Instagram stories, which you can also do Facebook stories, or TikTok videos, just to get in the habit of showing up and being on video. Okay, tip number 3 I have is to focus on your audience and don't focus on yourself. So if you're sitting there and you are worried about what your hair looks like, or if you have spinach in your teeth or things like that, you are going to get caught up in your head and you are going to lose the connection with your audience. So remember that you're showing up for a purpose and a reason. You're not showing up just for the sake of doing a live stream. You're showing up to serve the people that you're here to help through your business. So when you put all of your energy, your attention, and focus on those people, it's a lot easier to show up because you're not so self-conscious. Your consciousness isn't on yourself anymore. It's on your people. And when we're in that space, we're focusing on service. We're not focusing on ourselves. We're not focusing on the different things that we think are wrong with us, that people might make fun of us for, that people might comment about. We're not even in that headspace. So it's going to be so much easier to show up and share your message when you're focusing on your audience. And something that ties along with this is focus on one person. So I could sit here and I could look at the people who are on Facebook, and I could look at the number of viewers on Instagram, and I could get kind of freaked out, right? If it's a bigger group, I could very easily get nervous, right? But if you're focusing on one person and you're showing up for that one person that you have in mind, it's going to be a lot easier because you're just having a conversation. We're just sitting down, happens to be on the internet, happens to be in front of a potentially large audience. But right now, in this very moment, I'm just talking to one person. And so this might be someone that you've worked with in the past. It could be a previous client who's like an absolute dream to work with, and you would love to have them on your live stream. This could be a friend. It could be your partner. It could be like a client avatar. Like if you've never worked with anyone before and you're like, I don't even know who I would want to talk to. Get clear on who your ideal client would be and speak to that one person. Instead of freaking yourself out thinking, oh my God, I'm on the internet and there's over like 1 billion users on Facebook. And what if like more than 10 people show up here? I've never talked in front of more than 10 people. I'm going to fuck it up. I'm going to get scared. Don't let your mind go in that direction. Just focus on the one person. And then the last thing, guys, is to do things consistently that move you outside of your comfort zone. And I think this is important to do things in all areas of your life, not just your business, because when we're doing things outside of our comfort zone regularly, we're building confidence. And confidence in one area is going to trickle over into another area. But speaking about business and doing live streams and things like that, let's say you're showing up on your Instagram stories all the time. You've opened up to Facebook. You've opened up a Facebook group and you have a few people in there already and you're going live in there consistently and that's feeling good. Now it's time to go live on Instagram, or now it's time to go live on Facebook or TikTok. Do something that's going to stretch you because you want to be growing, you want to be expanding. And over time, you're going to be able to hold a bigger audience. And so what I did with this is back when I was going live regularly, like all over the place. Personal page, business page, Facebook group. I would reshare it everywhere. I was in different Facebook groups. And what I ended up doing was going into one. The person who ran the group, they allowed live streams. And I went in on Tuesdays and I did tarot readings because everyone in the group was allowed to go in and do lives on any day of the week at that time. So I would go in and I would pull cards for people and I would do tarot readings for the people who were in the group live at that time. But that group had 30,000 people in it. And I definitely had to do some mindset work to shift the fear around showing up in front of 30,000 people, because even though obviously not all of them are going to be on live at the exact same time I was, and not everyone was going to see my video, my mind freaked the fuck out, right? 30,000 people. Holy fuck. Like, you can't do this. You can't show up in front of that many people. Well, when you prove to your mind that you can do the thing that it thinks that you can't, that's how you build confidence. Confidence in your business isn't going to come from journaling. It's not going to come from, visualizing your next level and doing the internal work. That can be part of it, but it's going to come through the actions that you take. So when you're trying to show up on video and you're trying to get more consistent with that and you want to feel better about that, it's going to come through action. There's a time for journaling, there's a time for the internal work, but then you always have to back that up with aligned action. All right, you guys, that's what I have for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Purpose, Passion, and Profit podcast, the show for new coaches who want to go full-time in their business. If you want to hang out further, you can find me over on Instagram at igniteyourpurpose.co or over inside my Facebook group, Ignite Your Purpose. I will put the links to both of those places below. And as usual, I can't wait to speak with you in the next episode.